Now, look out, the geeks are among us. Today marked the third and last day of the third annual Middle East Film and Comic Convention, which had pop culture enthusiasts meeting international stars such as Taylor Kitsch, Tony Jaa, Seth Green, and Marvel legends Stan Lee, to name a few.
But Comic-Con is also a place for homegrown talent to get their work showcased alongside the legends of the industry, with young Emirati creators eager to sketch out their own futures.
Well, I caught up with Mo Abedin, a young man best known for being a toy maker, to find out more about his newest project, Raiiken, something he hopes will take Japan by storm. In the 1980s and 90s, children in the Middle East would wait with bated breath to watch the latest from their Arabic cartoon heroes, sharing in the adventures of Adnan Walina, Captain Majid, Al-Rajul Al-Hadidi, and Grendizer. But it wasn't until years later that many of them would realize that all of their favorite Arab cartoon characters weren't actually Arab at all. They came from Japan. Japanese anime was one of the first children's entertainment imports to the Gulf, and its cultural impact on the past few generations can still be seen today. Channels dedicated to Arabic-dubbed anime, such as Spacetoon, continue to thrive, and Emirati artists and creatives still draw on its inspiration for their own work. One such creative is Omar Butti, a young Emirati who grew up on Japanese cartoons and who is working on his own anime-inspired project that he plans to export back to Japan.
Raiiken I started working on when I was about 15 years old. I heavily got into watching anime and reading manga, especially with a lot of my friends. So I started, at the same time I'd been drawing for a few years. So I started creating characters, creating concepts. And slowly it became a story, and the story became a project for me when I was in university. That was 11 years ago, and it is where it is now, today. In a nutshell, it's a mixture between the Roman and Japanese mythology. So that's how the universe has been built. So there's a lot of lore, there's a lot of mythology, there's a lot of beasts, a lot of fantasy, a great mixture between current anime, action, shonen, as well as a little bit of historical references as well. So.
Now, I know originally you wanted to make an anime TV series. You're now looking at a one-volume manga comic. Why the shift?
Initially, yes, I wanted to have an anime created. But as a first project, the book we didn't have a book. We'd have to create everything from scratch. And it's quite a big amount to gather together in order to create an anime. So what we thought is we took the traditional route instead, which was most mangaka or Japanese artists take, which is to create the manga first and then create interest from the manga, which is why we're creating a tankobon in the beginning, which is a 250-page manga. And then from there on, we can see if there's a lot of interest, and that way we can test the water slowly and then proceed, into hopefully making anime one day. So that is still the ultimate goal, but we will start with the manga first.
Now, you're targeting the Japanese market, which is quite a role reversal. Traditionally, we've been importing their programs, their stuff. Why did you take that decision?
Two reasons. The main one is that, Emirati ideas should not always, I feel, should not always be created around Emirati culture. We also have an imagination. We also want to create content. Not all content needs to be synonymous with the culture all the time. Everybody has a story to tell. And that's the way I see it, and my story does not necessarily have anything to do with Emirati culture. It's just a fantasy world that I created. The second point is that the market here is not big enough to sustain such a project. If I were to go to the Japanese market, where they actually have a market of millions of readers, as well as the US market, then it's more of a, how do you say? It's more of a sure bet that, there could be something more potential that could happen.
So you're unveiling Raiiken for the first time to the world at Comic-Con. Why Comic-Con?
I've got a very close relationship with all the people at the con. We've been working together for 3 years now, and they've also been supportive in my projects and also giving me a lot of exposure to a lot of the public here. And it also gave me a chance to network. I was known for doing toys, and I just happened to create one of the characters from Raiiken at my booth one day, and that was actually what triggered this whole project. Somebody walked by and they saw it, they saw potential in what I was doing, and that's how I got the opportunity. The con does give you a great platform to meet people that you would not necessarily meet on your own.
So next year, can we hope to read about the adventures of Raiiken at the con?
Yeah, I don't want to commit, but there will be something there for people to read about. I mean, it is a year-long project. We're aiming at releasing in 2015, mid-2015. But if it's not ready by then, there will definitely be samplers. So MEFCC 2015, definitely.